Welcome back. The Texas Senate this week approved a bill known as the trigger ban. Its aim is to ban abortion in the state if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. Under this new legislation, individuals who perform or attempt to perform an abortion in Texas will face, get this, a second-degree felony. Joining us now for part of our Day 4 Fight for Life series, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. General, good to see you again.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, General, this trigger ban wouldn't go into effect, as Sean said, unless Roe v. Wade is overturned. But it is a monumental ruling holding abortion doctors accountable for the death of an unborn human. You know, we've been talking about this all week on our show. The problem with a lot of our rules and our laws is that they don't recognize when life begins. So was that part of the goal here with this trigger ban?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I actually used to be in the Texas Senate, and somebody that took my place, Senator Paxton, my wife, actually was the author of this bill. And so it's kind of exciting for me. I'll end up defending this bill very soon in court, I'm sure. Yeah, I think this was an important step towards states' rights. I mean, so long ago, we used to believe in the 10th Amendment and states having control over their own laws. And this is one of those examples. We're hoping that the Supreme Court will step in and recognize states' rights like they did so long ago and will control abortion in this state, and hopefully we can stop it.
Well, it's been a busy month there in Texas because you guys also signed the heartbeat bill into law, which will take effect this fall. It'll be one of the nation's strictest abortion measures, which bans abortion as early as 5 to 6 weeks once the heartbeat is detected. So you guys have really done a 1-2 step on this. Do you want Texas to be the state that's leading in these efforts? Is that the goal here?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is protect life. We're trying to set an example for other states and set the example for the country on protecting the unborn. This is probably the most significant legislative session as it relates to the pro-life bills. We've certainly been protecting life for years and years, but these are the boldest steps I've seen. And I think with the Supreme Court taking the case that they just took, we've got a really good opportunity to protect human life, and I'm really excited about this.
It's awesome to see what Texas is doing, especially I know you have sanctuary cities there as well for the unborn. So thank you for what you all are doing. But I do want to switch topics here. You're a border state and talk to you about our border security right now. In a committee hearing with House lawmakers yesterday, Homeland Security Advisor Alejandro Mayorkas hinted that we will further gut police programs that help arrest criminal illegal aliens. As we mentioned yesterday, ICE is only making one arrest every 2 months right now, the lowest on record so far. So what does this mean for our country if ICE continues being kept from doing its job?
You know, it's pretty sad. I was just in Laredo two days ago meeting with local city officials, the mayor, Peter Sines. I was meeting with the sheriff. I was meeting with Border Patrol, and they are extremely frustrated, without exception, by the Biden policies. And they're devastating. The beneficiary of these policies are one group of people. It's the cartels. For every person that crosses in that area, the cartels receive about $8,000. And then they make more money as they move them throughout the country. And so you can see the incentive here. The cartels have every incentive to round up as many people as possible and get them to this country so they can make their $8,000. And it ends up being billions of dollars a month. And then along with that, the Border Patrol is so busy taking care of these people that it opens up the border for other types of trafficking, including drug trafficking and human trafficking. So we've got a real problem here, and I don't understand exactly why the administration would want to purely benefit the cartels, because right now I'm not sure anybody else is benefiting.
Well, the thing is, in a border state like you've got to feel this big time. Illegal boarding crossings are at a 21-year high. But the secretary says he and the president have a simple message. Take a listen.
The president could not have been clearer in his articulation of this administration's position, nor could I have been clearer and continue to be so, which is the border is closed.
Oh, you guys know that, right? The border's closed.
Well, first day, President Biden said the border was open, that he would not deport anyone. And if you go down and talk to Border Patrol, who are responsible for keeping the border closed, they are not being given that message. So maybe he's giving the message to us, but the reality on the ground, and I think if he actually went down there, if Biden would go down there, or his vice president would go down there, they would actually find out that that is not the policy that's getting to the border. And the number of border crossings is up, they told me, about 3 times what it was just a year ago.
So I want to switch gears real quick before we let you go to politics for a moment. There's a lot of rumblings, probably is the best way to say it, that the land commissioner there in Texas, George P. Bush, is potentially going to launch a primary campaign that would face you for attorney general. There's a lot of scuttle that President Trump may or may not weigh in. Let me just ask it this way. I've said all along that the Trump endorsed candidate is always going to win a primary. So if Trump's endorsement, like I believe, is critical, could you win without his endorsement?
Well, I have a pretty strong relation with the president. I have since he went into office, and it's interesting to me that Bush, who would not endorse the president for most of his time as victory chair, is claiming somehow he's got some great relationship with the president. He may or may not, but it's not because of what he's done. If anything, he's been a detractor of the president. You can go back and look at his quotes. You can look at his family's quotes. They are not Trump supporters. They have never been Trump supporters, and they will never be Trump supporters.
So can I just ask, based on your record that you just articulated, would you be disappointed if the president didn't endorse you?
You know what? I'm very confident in the president. I have been very impressed with his ability to see through and look at the truth. I think you've seen that too. He just has a knack for knowing what the right thing to do is. And so I'm pretty confident that things are going to work out well for me and well for my state.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.